Welcome dear student. We starts with the reproductive system. Aim for today's practical is to study the reproductive system using specimen, models, etc.
Requirements of reproductive system include the specimen, chart and the model. Now we contain the male reproductive system and the female reproductive system. Now here is the model of the male reproductive system. This male reproductive system they contain the testes, glans penis, again the glans penis, urethra, prostate gland, etc. These are the model of the male reproductive system.
Reproductive system. Gonads, which are primary sex organ, testes in the male, ovaries in the female. Gonads produce the gametes, which is the sex cells, and secrete the hormones. The sperm, which are male gametes, and the ova or the eggs, which is the female gametes. The organs of the male reproductive system include the testes, a system of ducts, which is the epididymis, duct deferens, ejaculatory ducts, and the urethra. Accessory sex organ or the glands, they include the seminal vesicle, prostates, bulbourethral gland, and the several supporting structure, including the scrotum and the penis. The testes, which is a male gonads, produce the sperm and secrete the hormones. The duct system transport and store the sperm, assist in their maturation and convey them to the exterior. Semen contains sperm plus the secretion provided by the accessory sex gland. The supporting structure have various functions. The penis delivers the sperm into the female reproductive tract and the scrotum support the testes. And the function of male reproductive system, the testes produce the sperm and male sex hormone testosterone. The duct transport, store and assist in maturation of sperm. The accessory sex gland secrete most of the liquid portion of semen. The penis contains the urethra, a passageway of ejaculation of semen and excretion of the urine. Now the first one is the scrotum. The scrotum, the supporting structure for the testes, which consists of a loose skin and underlying subcutaneous layer that hangs from the root of the penis. Externally, the scrotum looks like a single pouch of skin separated into the lateral portion by a median ridge called as the raphe. Internally, the scrotal septum divided the scrotum into the two sacs, each containing a single testis. The septum is made up of subcutaneous layer and muscle tissue called as the dartos muscle, which is composed of bundles of the smooth muscle fibers. The dartos muscle is also found in the subcutaneous layer of the scrotum. Is associated with each testis in the scrotum is the cremaster muscle, a series of small bands of skeletal muscle that descend as an extension of the internal oblique muscle through the spermatic cord to surrounding the testes. The location of the scrotum and the contraction of its muscle fiber regulate the temperature of the testes. The normal sperm production requires a temperature about the 2 to 3 degrees Celsius below the core temperature. This lower the temperature is maintained within the scrotum because it is outer side the pelvic cavity. In response to cold temperature, the cremaster and the dartos muscle get contracted. Next one is the testes. The testes or the testicles are paired oval gland in the scrotum measuring about 5 cm long and 2.5 cm in diameter. Each testis has a mass of 10 to 15 gram. The testes develop near the kidney in the posterior portion of the abdomen. A serous membrane called as the tunica vaginalis, which is derived from the peritoneum and forms during the descent of the testes, partially covers the testes. A collection of serous fluid in the tunica vaginalis is hydrocele. It may be caused by injury to the testes or inflammation of the epididymis. Internal to the tunica vaginalis, the testis is surrounded by is a white fibrous capsule composed of dense irregular connective tissue, the tunica albuginea. It extends inward, forming septa that divided the testis into a series of internal compartments, which is called as the lobules. Each of the 200 to 300 lobules contain 1 to 3 tightly coiled tubules, the seminiferous tubule, where the sperm get produced. The process by which the seminiferous tubule of the testis produce the sperm, which is called as the spermatogenesis. The seminiferous tubules contains two types of cells, spermatogenic cells and the sperm forming cell. The sustentacular cell or the Sertoli cells, which have the several functions in supporting the spermatogenesis. Next one is the spermatogenesis. This spermatogenesis is the production of the sperm cell, begins at the puberty and continues throughout the life. Occurs in the seminiferous tubule. Spermatogonia undergoes the rapid mitosis to produce the more stem cells before the puberty. And this mitosis, it means the formation of the two new cells. Follicle stimulating hormones modifies the spermatogonia division. One cell produces in a stem cells and the other cell produced become a primary spermatocytes. Now these are the spermatogenic cell. This spermatogonia or the stem cell forms the primary spermatocyte. Again they form the secondary spermatocyte and the spermatide. Microscopic anatomy of the seminiferous tubules and the stages of sperm production. The N indicates the haploid cell and 2N indicate the diploid number of the chromosome. Primarily spermocyte undergoes the meiosis. It means the formation of the 4 new daughter cells. Haploid spermatoids are produced. Spermatogenesis in that the late spermatide are produced with the distinct region. Head, they contains the DNA covered by the acrosome, midpiece, tail. The sperm cell result after the maturing the spermatides. Spermatogenesis takes place the 64 to 72 days. These are the difference between mitosis and the meiosis. Mitosis forms the 2 new daughter cells and meiosis forms the 4 new daughter cells or the gametes. Events in the spermatogenesis, diploid cells have 46 chromosomes and haploid cells have 23 chromosomes. These are the pathway of the spermatogenesis. Next one is the sperm. Each day, about 300 million sperm complete the process of the spermatogenesis. A sperm is about 60 meters long and contains several structures that are highly adapted for reaching and penetrating a secondary oocyte. A major part of the sperm are the head and the tail. Now see, these are the diagram of the sperm. They contain the head and the tail. The flattened, pointed head of the sperm is about 4 to 5 meter long. It contains a nucleus with 23 highly condensed chromosomes. Covering the anterior two-thirds of the nucleus is the acromosome, a cap-like vesicles filled with the enzyme that help a sperm to penetrate a secondary oocyte to bring about the fertilization. The tail of the sperm is subdivided into the four parts: neck, midpiece, principal cell, principal piece, and the end piece. The neck is the constrictor region just behind the head that contains the centrioles. The centrioles form the microtubules that comprise the remainder of the tail. The midpiece contains the mitochondria arranged in a spiral, which provides the energy for locomotion of sperm to the site of fertilization and form a sperm metabolism. The principal piece is the longest portion of the tail and the end piece is the terminal tapering portion of the tail. Once ejaculated, most sperm do not survive more than 48 hours within the female reproductive tract. Reproductive system ducts in the males. Ducts of the testes. Pressure generated by the fluid secreted by sustentacular cell pushes sperm and fluid along the lumen of seminiferous tubule and then into a series of very short ducts called as the straight tubules. The straight tubules lead to a network of ducts in the testes called as the rete testes. From the rete testes, sperm move into a series of coiled efferent ducts in the epididymis that empty into a single tube called as the duct epididymis. Next one is the epididymis. The epididymis is a comma-shaped organ about 4 cm long that lies along the posterior border of each testis. Each epididymis consists mostly of the tightly coiled ducts epididymis. The efferent ducts from the testes join the ducts epididymis at the larger superior portion of the epididymis called as the head. The body is the narrow mid portion of the epididymis and the tail is the smaller and inferior portion. At its distal end, the tail of the epididymis continues as the ducts deferens. The duct's epididymis would measure about 6 cm in length if it is uncoiled. It is lined with pseudostratified columnar epithelium and encircled by large layer of the smooth muscle. The free surface of the columnar cells contains the stereocilia, which deficit. Their names are long, branching microvilla that increase the surface area for the reabsorption of degenerated sperm. Functionally, the epididymis is the site of sperm maturation, the process by which sperm acquire motility and the ability to sperm and to fertilize an ovum. This occurs over a period of about 14 days. The epididymis also help to propel sperm into the ductus deferens during sexual arousal by peristaltic contraction of its smooth muscle. In addition, the epididymis store the sperm which remain viable here for up to the several months. Any stored sperm that are not ejaculated by that time are eventually get reabsorbed. Next one is the ductus deferens. Within the tail of the epididymis, the duct epididymis becomes less convoluted and its diameter increases. Beyond this point, the duct is known as the duct deferens or the vas deferens. It is which is about 45 cm in long, ascending along the posterior border of the epididymis through the spermatic cord and then enters the pelvic cavity. There it loops over the uterus and passes over the side and down the posterior surface of the urinary bladder. The dilated terminal portion of the ductus deferens is the ampulla. Functionally, the ductus deferens conveys the sperm during the sexual arousal from the epididymis towards the urethra by peristaltic contraction of its muscular coat. Like the epididymis, the ductus deferens also can store the sperm for the several months. Spermatic cord. The spermatic cord is a supporting structure of the male reproductive system that ascends out the scrotum. Ejaculatory ducts. The ejaculatory duct is about 2 cm long and is formed by the union of the duct from the seminal vesicles and the ampulla of the duct deferens. The short ejaculatory duct formed just superior to the base of the prostate and passed inferiorly and anteriorly through the prostate. They terminate in the prostatic urethra where they eject the sperm and seminal vesicle secretion just before the release of semen from the urethra to the exterior. Next one is the urethra. In males, the urethra is shared terminal duct of the reproductive and the urinary system. It serves as a passageway for both the semen as well as the urine. Is about the 20 centimeter in long. It passes through the prostate, the deep muscles of the perineum and the penis, and it is subdivided into the three parts. The prostatic urethra is 2 to 3 centimeter in long and pass through the prostate. As this duct continues inferiorly, it passes through the deep muscles of the perineum where it is known as the intermediate urethra. The intermediate urethra is about 1 centimeter in length. As this duct passes through the corpus spongiosum of the penis, it is known as the spongy urethra, which is about 15 to 20 centimeter in long. The spongy urethra ends at the external urethral orifice. Next one is the accessory sex gland. The duct of the male reproductive system store and transport sperm cells, but the accessory sex gland secrete most of the liquid portion of the semen. The accessory sex gland include the seminal vesicle, the prostate and the bulbourethral gland. First one is the seminal vesicles. The paired seminal vesicles or the seminal gland are convoluted pouch-like structure about the 5 cm in length, lying posterior to the base of the urinary bladder and the anterior to the rectum. Through the seminal vesicle duct they secrete an alkaline viscous fluid that continues the fructose, prostaglandin and clotting protein that are different from those in the blood. The alkaline nature of the seminal fluid helps to neutralize the acidic environment of the male urethra and female reproductive tract that otherwise would inactivate and kill the sperm. The fructose is used for ATP production by the sperm. Prostaglandin contributes to sperm motility and viability and may stimulate smooth muscle contraction within the female reproductive tract. The clotting protein helps the semen coagulate after the ejaculation. Fluid secreted by the seminal vesicles normally constitute about 60% of the volume of the semen. Next one is the prostate. The prostate is a single nut-like shaped gland about the size of golf ball. It measures 4 cm from side to side, about 3 cm from top to bottom and 2 cm from front to back. It is inferior to the urinary bladder and surrounds the prostatic urethra. The prostate slowly increases the size from birth to the puberty. It then expands rapidly until about the age of 30, after which time its size typically remains stable until about the age of 45 when further enlargement may occur. The prostate secrete a milky, slightly acidic fluid that contains the several substances. First one is the citric acid in prostatic fluid is used by the sperm for ATP production via the Krebs cycle. The several proteolytic enzymes such as the prostate specific antigen, pepsinogen, lysozyme, amylase and the hyaluronide eventually break down the clotting protein from the seminal vesicles. Third one is the function of the acid phosphate secreted by the prostate is unknown. Seminal plasmin in the prostatic fluid is an antibiotic that can destroy the bacteria. Seminal plasmin may help to decrease the number of naturally occurring bacteria in semen and in the lower male reproductive tract. Secretion of the prostate enters the prostatic urethra through many prostatic ducts. Prostatic secretion makes up to the 25% of the volume of semen and contribute to the sperm motility and the viability. Bulbourethral gland. A pair bulbourethral gland or the Cooper's gland are about the size of the peas. They are located inferior to the prostate on either side of the membranous urethra within the deep muscles of the perineum and their ducts open into the spongy urethra. During sexual arousal, the bulbourethral gland secrete an alkaline fluid into the urethra that protect the passing sperm by neutralizing acid from the urine in the urethra. They also secrete mucus that lubricates the end of the penis and the lining of the urethra, decreasing the number of sperm damaged during the ejaculation. Next one is the semen. Semen is a mixture of sperm and the seminal fluid, a liquid that consists of secretion of seminiferous tubule, seminal vesicle, prostate and the bulbourethral gland. The volume of semen in a typical ejaculation is 2.5 to 5 millimeters with 50 to 150 million sperm per ml. When the number of falls below 20 million per ml, the male is likely to be infertile. A very large number of sperm is required for successful fertilization because only a tiny fraction ever reaches the secondary oocyte. Despite the slight acidity of prostatic fluid, semen has a slightly alkaline pH of the 7.2 to 7.7 due to a higher pH and large volume of fluid from the seminal vesicles. The prostatic secretion gives a semen a milky appearance and fluid from the seminal vesicle and the bulbourethral gland give it a sticky consistency. Next one is the penis. The penis contains the urethra and is a passageway for the ejaculation of semen and the excretion of the urine. It is cylindrical in shape and consists of a body, glans, penis and the root. The body of the penis is composed of three cylindrical masses of tissue is surrounded by fibrous tissue called as the tunica albuginea. The two dorsolateral masses are called as the corpus carnosum penis. The smaller mid-ventral mass, the corpus spongiosum penis, contains the spongy urethra and keeps open during the ejaculation. Skin and the substances large enclose all three masses which consist of erectile tissue. Erectile tissue is composed of numerous blood sinuses lined by the endothelial cells and surrounded by the smooth muscle and the elastic connective tissues. The distal end of the corpus spongiosum penis is a slightly enlarged acron-shaped region called as the glans penis. Its margin is the corona. The distal urethral enlarges within the glans penis and forms a terminal slit-like opening, the external orifice, covering the glans in an uncircumcised penis is loosely fitting prepuce or the foreskin. The root of the penis is attached the portion. It consists of the bulb of the penis is expanded posterior continuation of the base of the corpus spongiosum penis and the crura of the penis. The weight of the penis is supported by the two ligaments that are the continuous with the fascia of the penis. First one is the fundiform ligament arises from the inferior part of the linea alba. The suspensory ligament of the penis arises from the pubic symphysis. Thank you. Welcome students. Here we start with the female reproductive system. The organs of the female reproductive system, which includes the ovaries, which is the female gonads, the uterine or fallopian tube or oviducts, the uterus, and the vaginal and external organs, which are collectively called as the vulva. The mammary glands are considered part of the both integumentary system and the female reproductive system. Function of female reproductive system. The ovary produce secondary oocyte and hormones including progesterone and estrogen, inhibin and relaxin. The uterine tube transport a secondary oocyte to the uterus and normally are the site where fertilization occurs. The uterus is the site of implantation of a fertilized ovum, development of the fetus during the pregnancy and the labor. The vagina receives the penis during sexual intercourse and is a passageway for childbirth. The mammary gland synthesizes, secrete and eject milk for nourishment of the newborn. Next one is ovaries. The ovaries or the egg, which are the female gonads, are pair glands that resemble unshielded almonds in size and shape. They are homologous to the testes. The ovary produce gametes, secondary oocytes that develop into the mature ova or the eggs after the fertilization, and the hormones include the progesterone and the estrogen, which is a female sex hormone, again the inhibin and the relaxin. The ovaries, one on either side of the uterus, descend to the brim of the superior portion of the pelvic cavity during the third month of the development. A series of ligaments holds them in the position. The broad ligament of the uterus, which lies the fold of the parietal peritoneum, attaches to the ovaries by a double layer fold of peritoneum and which is called as the mesoovarium. The ovarian ligament anchors the ovaries to the uterus and the suspensory ligament attach them to the pelvic wall. Each ovary contains a hilum, the point of entrance and the exit for blood vessel and nerve along which them mesoovarium is attached. Next one is histology of the ovary. Each ovary consists of the following parts. The geminal epithelium is a layer of simple epithelium that covers the surface of the ovary. The tunica albuginea is a whitish capsule of dense irregular connective tissue located immediately deep to the geminal epithelium. The ovarian cortex is a region just deep to the tunica albuginea. It consists of ovarian follicles surrounded by dense irregular connective tissue that contains the collagen fibers and the fibroblast-like cells, which is called as the stromal cell. The ovarian medulla is deep to the ovarian cortex. The border between the cortex and the medulla is indistinct, but the medulla consists of more loosely arranged connective tissue and contains blood vessels, lymphatic vessel, and the nerves. Ovarian follicles are in the cortex and consist of oocyte in various stages of development plus the cell surrounding them. When the surrounding cell form a single layer, they are called as the follicular cell. Later in development, when they form the several layers, they are referred to as the granulosa cells. The surrounding cell nourishes the developing oocyte and begin to secrete estrogen as the follicle grows larger. A mature or the Graafian follicles is a large fluid-filled follicle that is ready to rupture and expel its secondary oocyte, which process is known as ovulation. A corpus luteum contains the remnants of a mature follicle after the ovulation. The corpus luteum produces the progesterone, estrogen, relaxin, and inhibiting until it degenerates into the fiber scar tissue, and this tissue is called as the corpus albicans. Next one is the oogenesis and the follicular development. The formation of gametes in the ovaries is termed as the oogenesis. In contrast to spermatogenesis, which begins in male at the puberty, and this oogenesis begins in female before they are even in born. Oogenesis occur in essentially the same manner as spermatogenesis. Meiosis takes place and the resulting germ cells undergoes the maturation. During the early fetal development, primordial germ cell migrate from the yolk sac to the ovaries. Their germ cell differentiate within the ovaries into the oogonia. Oogonia are diploid stem cells that divide mitotically to produce the millions of the germ cells. Even before birth, most of these germ cells degenerate in a process which is known as the atresia. A few, however, develop into a larger cell which is called as the primary oocyte that enter the prophase of meiosis 1 during the fetal development but do not complete the phase until after the puberty. During this arrested stage of development, each primary oocyte is surrounded by a single layer of flat follicular cell and the entire structure is called as the primordial follicle. The ovarian cortex surrounding the primordial follicle consists of collagen fibers and the fibroblast like stromal cells. Each month after puberty until menopause, gonadotropins, it means the FSH and the LHS, secreted by the anterior pituitary further stimulate the development of several primordial follicles, although only one will typically reach the maturity needed for ovulation. A few primordial follicles start to grow, developing into the primary follicle. Each primary follicle consists of a primary oocyte that is surrounded in a later stage of development by the several layers of cuboidal and low columnar cells which is called as the granulosa cells. The outermost granulosa cell rests on a basement membrane. As the primary follicles grow, it forms a clear glycoprotein layer called as the zona pellucida between the primary oocyte and the granulosa cell. In addition, stromal cells surrounding the basement membrane begin to form an organized layer which is called as the theca folliculi. With continuing maturation, a primary follicle develops into a secondary follicle. In a secondary follicle, the theca differentiates into two layers. The first one is the theca interna, which is a highly vascularized internal layer of cuboidal secretory cell that secrete the estrogen. And the theca externa, an outer layer of stromal cells and the collagen fiber. In addition, the granulosa cell begin to secrete follicular fluid which builds up in a cavity called as the antrum in the center of the secondary follicle. The innermost layer of granulosa cell become firmly attached to zona pellucida and is now called as the corona radiata. This secondary follicle eventually becomes larger, turning into a mature or the Graafian follicle. Now see, these are the diagram of the ovarian follicles. First one is the primordial follicle, late primary follicle, secondary follicle, and last one is the mature or the Graafian follicle. Oogenesis. While in these follicles and just before the ovulation, the diploid primary oocyte completes meiosis I, producing two haploid cells of unequal size, each with have the 23 chromosome. The smaller cell produced by meiosis I, called as the first polar body, is essentially a packet of discarded nuclear material. The large cell, known as the secondary oocyte, receive the most of the cytoplasm. Once a secondary oocyte is formed, it begins the meiosis II, but then stop in the metaphase. The mature or Graafian follicle soon rupture and release its secondary oocyte, which processes the ovulation. At ovulation, the secondary oocyte is expelled into the pelvic cavity together with the first polar body and the corona radiata. Normally, these cells are swept into the uterine tube. If fertilization does not occur, the cells get degenerate. If sperm are present in the uterine tube and one penetrates the secondary oocyte, however, meiosis II get resumes. The secondary oocyte splits into the two haploid cells, again of unequal size. The larger cell in the ovum or mature egg, the smaller one is the second polar body. The nuclei of the sperm cells and the ovum then unite, forming a diploid zygote. If the first polar body undergoes the another division to produce two polar bodies, then the primary oocyte ultimately gives rise to three haploid polar bodies which all degenerate and a single haploid ovum. Thus, one primary oocyte gives rise to a single gamete. Now see, these are the process of the oogenesis. First one is the oogonium, which goes the mitosis and forms the primary oocyte. After this primary oocyte goes the meiosis I, form the secondary oocyte and the first polar body. After that, the first polar body forms the two haploid cells. The secondary oocyte in the ovulation form the secondary oocyte, and the addition of the first cell, they goes the meiosis II and form the fertilization. These are the summary of the oogenesis. Uterine tube. Female have two uterine tube, also called as the fallopian tube or the oviducts, that extend laterally from the uterus. The tube, which measures about the 10 cm long, lies within the folds of the broad ligaments of the uterus. They provide a route for the sperm to reach an ovum and transport secondary oocyte and fertilize the ova from the ovary to the uterus. The funnel-shaped portion of each tube, which is called as the infundibulum, is close to the ovary but is open to the pelvic cavity. It ends in a finger-like projection called as the fimbria, one of which is attached to the lateral end of the ovary. Uterus. The uterus serves as the part of the pathway for sperm deposit in the vagina to reach the uterine tubes. It is also the site of implantation of a fertilized ovum, development of the fetus during the pregnancy and the labor. During reproductive cycle, when implantation does not occur, the uterus is the source of menstrual flow. Next one is the anatomy of the uterus. Situated between the urinary bladder and the rectum, the uterus is the size and shape of an inverted pear. In females who have never been pregnant, it is about the 7.5 cm in long, 5 cm in wide and 2.5 cm in thick. The uterus is longer in females who have recently been pregnant and smaller when sex hormone levels are low or occurs after the menopause. Anatomical subdivision of the uterus include a dome-shaped portion superior to the uterine tube called as the fundus, a tapering central portion called as the body, an inferior narrow portion called as the cervix that opens into the vagina. Between the body of the uterus and the cervix is the isthmus, a constricted region about 1 centimeter long. The inferior of the body of the uterus is called as the uterine cavity and the inferior of the cervix is called as the cervical canal. The cervical canal opens into the uterine cavity at the internal os and into the vagina at the external os. Layer of the uterus. Perimetrium, it is the outer layer of the uterus. Myometrium, it is the middle layer of the uterus. And the endometrium, the lining of the uterine cavity, is called as the endometrium. Next one is the vagina. Vagina is the passageway for the menstrual flow and the childbirth. It also receives semen from the penis during the sexual intercourse. It is 10 cm in length, situated between the urinary bladder and the rectum. The vaginal mucosa secrete the acidic fluid as well as the mucosal cells of the vagina has the antigen presenting cell from where the HIV virus get transmitted. The next layer of muscularis is composed of an outer circular layer and the inner longitudinal layer of smooth muscle that can stretch considerably to receive the penis during sexual intercourse and allow for birth of a fetus. The adventitia is a superficial layer of the vagina. At the end of vagina, there is a vaginal orifice covered by the mucosal membrane which is known as the hymen. Next one is the vulva. It is known as the external genital organ of the female reproductive system. They include the mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora and the clitoris. First one is the mons pubis. Anterior to the vaginal and the urethral opening portion is known as the mons pubis. It is an elevation of adipose tissue covered by the skin and the hair. Second one is the labia majora. From the mons pubis, two longitudinal folds of skin known as the labia majora. It is homologous to the scrotum and covered by the pubic hair. Third one is the labia minora. Middle to the labia majora is the smaller folds of the skin which is called as the labia minora. But it not consists the hair and the fat. They have few sudoriferous or the sweat gland and the sebaceous or the oil gland. Fourth one is the clitoris. It is the small cylindrical mass of erectile tissue and the nerve. It is located at the anterior junction of the labia minora. It is homologous to the penis and capable of enlargement upon tactile stimulation and it plays important role in sexual excitement of the female. Fifth one is the vestibules. The region between the labia minora is known as the vestibules. Hymen vaginal orifice, external vaginal orifice are located between the vestibules. The bulk of the vestibules consists of two elongated masses of the erectile tissue during the sexual intercourse, it narrowing the vaginal orifice and playing pressure on the penis. Anterior to the vaginal orifice and posterior to the clitoris is the external urethral orifice. Next one is the perineum. It is a diamond-shaped area medial to the thigh and buttstock of the males and the females that contains the external genital and the anus. Next one is the mammary glands. This mammary gland is an organ in the female mammallas that produce the milk to feed baby located in the breast. Each breast have one pigmented projection known as the nipple. It have closely spaced opening known as lactiferous duct from where milk emerges. The circular pigmented area of the skin surrounding the nipple known as the areola, it appears rough because it contains the modified sebaceous gland. Within each breast, the mammary gland consists of 15 to 20 lobes separated by adipose tissue. Each lobe has smaller compartment known as the lobules composed of the grape-like clusters of milk secretion glands known as the alveoli. Surrounding the alveoli are spindle-shaped cells known as the myoepithelial cells whose contraction helps to propel the milk towards the nipple. Milk path, which is alveoli to the secondary tubules, to the mammary ducts, lactiferous sinus and the lactiferous duct. Milk secretion is stimulated by the hormones prolactin. The female reproductive cycle. The phases of the female reproductive cycle. The duration of the female reproductive cycle typically ranges from 24 to 36 days, a duration of 28 days, and divided it into 4 phases. The menstrual phase, pre-ovulatory phase, ovulation and the post-ovulatory phase. First one is the menstrual phase. This phase is also known as the menstruation or the men's phase, takes the first 5 days of the cycle. Now the first one is the event in ovaries and second one is the event in uterus. Event in the ovaries during the menstruation phase, about the 20 so small secondary follicle try to begin the enlarge. In this phase, follicular fluid secrete from granular cells and oozing from blood capillaries and oocyte remain near the edge of the follicle. Next is event in the uterus. In this phase, decrease the hormone level of the estrogen and the progesterone. Because of this reason, produce the contraction of uterine spiral arteries. So the blood supply of the endometrium cell gets interrupted and start to die. It starts the menstruation flow consists about the volume of 50 to 150 ml of blood, tissue fluid, mucus and epithelial cells derived from the endometrium. Second one is the post-ovulation phase. It takes last 14 days from days of the 15 to 28. It represents the time between ovulation and the onset of the next mens. Corpus luteum form in this phase and it increases the secretion of estrogen and the progesterone. Now events in the ovary. In this phase, if the secondary oocyte gets fertilized and begins to divide, the corpus luteum persists the parts its normal 2 weeks lifespan and it is maintained by the human chronic gonadotropins. This hormone is produced by the chorion of the embryonic after the 8 to 12 days of the fertilization. The human growth The human chronic gonadotropin level in the blood or urine confirm the pregnancy. If the SCG will not release, then corpus luteum decrease their secretion and produce the scare known as the corpus albicans. Decreased level of estrogen and progesterone again start the menstruation. Event in the uterus. Progesterone and the estrogen secretion produced by the corpus luteum promote the growth and coiling of the endometrium gland, which begins to secrete glycogen, vascularization of the superficial endometrium, thickening of the endometrium, and increase the amount of the tissue fluid. Third one is the ovulation. In this phase, the mature follicle cell get rupture and release the secondary oocyte into the pelvic cavity, usually occur in the day 14 of 28 days cycle. It generally takes 20 days. During this phase, primary oocyte complete the meiosis 1 and enter into the meiosis 2. Fourth one is the post-ovulation phase. It takes last 14 days from the days of 15 to 28. It represents the time between ovulation and the onset of the next mens. Corpus luteum form in this phase and it is increase the secretion of estrogen and the progesterone. Now events in the ovary. In this phase, if the secondary oocyte get fertilized and begins to divide, the corpus luteum persists past its normal 2-week lifespan and it is maintained by the human chronic gonadotropin. This hormone is produced by the chorion of the embryo after 8 to 12 days of the fertilization. The SCG level into the blood or the urine confirm the pregnancy. If the SCG will not release, then the corpus luteum decrease their secretion and produce the scare known as the corpus albicans. Decrease the level of estrogen and the progesterone, start the menstruation. Events in the uterus. Progesterone and estrogen secretion produced by the corpus luteum promote the growth and coiling of the endometrium gland, which begins to secrete glycogen, vascularization of the superficial endometrium, thickening of the endometrium, and increasing the amount of the tissue fluids. These are the ovarian cycle and the uterine or the menstrual cycle. First one is the menstrual phase, pre-ovulatory phase. Next one is the ovulation in the 14 days and the next one is the post-ovulatory phase. Now the changes in the concentration of anterior pituitary and the ovarian hormones. Next one is the fertilization. The oocyte is variable for 12 to 24 hours after the ovulation. Sperm are viable for 12 to 48 hours after the ejaculation. Sperm cells must make their way to the uterine tube for fertilization to be possible. Now the mechanism of fertilization. Membrane receptor on an oocyte pulls in the head of the first sperm cell to make the contact. The membrane of the oocyte does not permit a second sperm head to enter. The oocyte then undergoes its second meiotic division. Fertilization occurs when the genetic material of sperm combines with that of an oocyte to form the zygote. Next one is the sex hormones. First one is the estrogen. Produced by the follicular cells, they cause the secondary sex characteristic. In that, enlargement of accessory organs, development of breast, appearance of pubic hair, increase in fat beneath the skin, widening and lightening of the pelvic, and onset of mens. Next one is the progesterone. They produce the corpus luteum. Production continues until the luteinizing hormone diminishes in the blood and helps to maintain the pregnancy. Third one is the testosterone. The most important hormone of the testis, produced in the interstitial fluid, and the function of testosterone is to stimulate the reproductive organ development, underlies the sex drive, cause secondary sex characteristic, deepening of voice, increase hair growth, enlargement of skeletal muscle and thickening of the bones. Next one is the pregnancy. Pregnancy, which is a period from conception until the birth. First one is the anatomical changes, enlargement of the uterus, accentuated lumbar curvature, relaxation of the pelvic ligaments and the pubic symphysis due to the production of the relaxin. Second one is the physiological changes. In that first one is the gastrointestinal system. Morning sickness is common due to the elevated progesterone. Heartburn is common because of organ crowding by the fetus. Constipation is caused by declining the motility of the digestive tract. Second one is the urinary system. Kidney have additional burden and produce more urine. The uterus compresses the bladder. Next is the respiratory system. Nasal mucus become congested and gets swollen. Vital capacity and the respiratory rate get increases. Fourth one is the cardiovascular system. In that, body water get rises, body volume get increases by 25 to 40%, blood pressure and pulse get increases, and varicose veins are get common. Now next one is the childbirth. Labor, which is the series of events that expel the infants from the uterus. Initiation of the labor, which is the estrogen level get rises, uterine contraction get begins. The placenta are released prostaglandin, oxytocin is released by the pituitary gland. Combination of these hormones produce the contraction. Thank you.
Result is the reproductive system with the help of model, chart and specimen was studied. Now next one is question bank. For first question, the growth hormone produced by the pituitary gland is known as somatostatin. The secretion from which of these glands differs between males and females? Answer is gonad. Now next question, the two regulatory system of the body, the endocrine system and the nervous system. Next question, chemical messengers secreted by the ductless gland are called as the hormones. The hormones that is released from the testes is the testosterone. In order for the thyroid gland to produce the thyroxine, which is iodine, must be available. Next question, the concentration of sodium and potassium ion in the blood and body fluid is regulated by hormones which is known as the mineralocorticoids. These are the total of reproductive system. Thank you.